Good to see you too, Lorraine. Thank you.
Yeah, well, I'm happy to have you here representing Priceline, an iconic brand, for sure.
That is the right word, yep.
Yeah, and you've been with them almost the whole way, I guess 24 years?
Yeah, 25 now. I started in 1999, missed the first 9 months or so of the founding of the company, but it's been a wonderful journey.
So tell us a little bit about that journey. I mean, what would you say, if you had to say what were your top 3 accomplishments over that 25-year span, what would you say?
Well, I think what makes Priceline very unique are the people, right? We have amassed and built a team that is extremely passionate about our mission and what we do. And so that's one thing I'm extremely proud of, is the people who work there. They're amazing. Number 2 would certainly be William Shatner in our negotiator campaign, which was one of the longest running and I think most successful campaigns in the history of travel. And then 3rd is just our work with technology, especially with the first iPhone app. We were one of the first in the world to put a travel app out, and certainly now with generative AI, which I think we're going to talk about in a few minutes.
Absolutely. So tell me a little bit, because Priceline was very air-centric in the beginning, right? I mean, when Jay Walker launched it, the incubator, and TWA tickets and whatnot. So how has Priceline evolved as well, product-wise, in terms of hotel versus air versus packages?
Sure. So our founder, Jay Walker, he came with a vision, and his vision was that we were going to solve one of the most challenging, I think, issues that retailers around the world face, which is how do you get rid of excess inventory without undermining your pricing strategy? And so he launched Flight out of the gate, but then we very quickly rolled out a number of other products that had nothing to do with travel, as you know. Groceries, gasoline, insurance, new cars. We went all over the map. It was a classic startup scenario. But we did get into hotels, rental car, then we moved into a couple of other travel products. And once 9/11 hit and things broke down and went out of control, we realized travel was the place the model really worked. And so that's where we stuck. And hotel in particular, of course, it worked exceptionally well with our Name Your Own Price products.
Yeah, I remember, because after 9/11, we thought people weren't going to travel at all, and the OTAs ended up doing very well because people who were traveling were looking for a deal. So that was a real sweet spot for Priceline.
Yeah, I mean, that is our ethos, right? We are a value player in North America in particular. We bring some of the best prices and experiences, I think, in travel here in this market.
So let's talk about the negotiator a bit, because especially during your Name Your Own Price era, right? That's really when he kind of initiated that, or he kind of made it popular, and it was a game. And a lot of us, I don't know how many people used to do the opaque Name Your Own Price on Priceline. It was fun, right? You didn't know where you were going to stay, and it was, but you knew eventually it was going to be like Midtown or downtown. You had kind of these vague concepts of where it was. And it was almost a game, and it was a lot of fun. And if you were trying to save some money for your company or whatnot, you would use it. So what happened to Name Your Own Price?
Yeah, Name Your Own Price was our business for a good decade. And we realized after some time that product would only really penetrate about 10% of the population. Most people were not willing to name their own price. It was time-consuming, had a little bit of risk, and we realized that most of our customers were men through the age of 35 to 55, right? They were risk takers, they were probably solo travelers, and so we thought, hey, this is not a long-term proposition for our business. And so we then began to extend into full services, into retail prices, and a lot of other types of deal products that didn't require that type of energy. And then when mobile came out, we really found that the consumer's appetite to wait, to name their own price, to see if they got it, and if they didn't get it, they'd have to go back in and try it again. It was just too much for consumers. So even though we had a die-hard core base, we had to innovate and change our business model, or we would have not survived.
So it wasn't so much that the suppliers, the hotels, were pulling back, because eventually when the hotels didn't need to eliminate or sell so much excess inventory, right? Because after 9/11, after we had the economic decline of 2009, hotels kind of soared, except for COVID, of course. And you would think that they would be wanting to look for an opaque outlet, but that's not the case.
No, in fact, the opaque outlet was and continues to be a very powerful way for our travel suppliers to move inventory without disclosing price. And before it was Name Your Own Price, now we have new products that are much easier to use, but are still opaque with varying levels of opacity depending on which product you choose. Now, That's not the majority of what we sell. The majority of what we sell today is fully disclosed pricing, but opaque plays a very important role for all of our partners, both airlines, rental car companies, and hoteliers, to move inventory without disclosing their price.
And what about packages like selling, I know that's been kind of a struggle to kind of combine, right? Air, car, hotel. What do you see there?
In the industry, it has been a struggle.
Yes.
For us, we have, I think, some of the most forward-thinking packaging services and products in the space because we have access to so much unique inventory under the hood, not just breadth of product, but price and availability with that product. And so we have built packaging services that allow you to do unique things like bundle 2 hotels together. In fact, one of our strongest packaging products is actually flight plus car. So a lot of people don't even add the hotel to their packaging. They just want to get a flight, and they realize, well, I need a car. And so bundling that car with it delivers a lower price and gives them great value. And it's really easy to do. So we found some really nice pockets of growth with our packaging solutions.
Good. So Priceline obviously was the name of the company. They changed its name to Booking Holdings quite a few years ago, I guess. And so now Priceline is part of Booking and competes with Booking in the U.S. Different platforms, how is that? What is a division like?
Yeah, in Booking Holdings, each of our brands operates completely independently. However, we share a lot of things. We share inventory, we share ideas, we brainstorm together. We have sessions all over the world where our teams get together and talk about what's working for our brands so that we can excel in our space. The United States is the most competitive marketplace in the world in terms of the number of brands that operate here, especially in the OTA space. And as you know, one of our competitors, Expedia, has 6 different brands that operate here. So to have 2 brands of scale that are operating against that type of a competitor, it's important for us to both do very well here. And so we both have our own platforms, our own products. We attract different types of customers, and that's what has been, I think, a nice portfolio approach to the market here.
But it's especially important for Priceline to do well in the U.S. market because this is your market, or North America. I don't know what kind of presence you would have, say, in Canada.
Yeah, it's important for us as a brand, and it's even more important for us as a group for Priceline to be successful here because we need a dual brand strategy here.
And isn't that challenging, though? Because the U.S. market isn't growing as fast, right, as some of the markets in Asia, for example.
Yeah.
What's the trajectory?
Yes.
Like, where's the growth?
We have to work harder, I think, than any of the other large OTAs in the world because we are primarily focused in North America. You look at the STR reports, the average, unit growth here, or really the growth of RevPAR has been, flat to up 1 or 2%. And so for us, we have to outgrow that always. And so what do? We have to hustle a lot more, right? We've got to get more inventory, better prices. We have to advertise more effectively and efficiently than our competitors. And we're good at that. Now, we also have 2 lines of business. We have a B2C business, which I think folks know with Priceline. We also have a very important B2B business.
I was going to ask you about that because I know, Agoda has a lot of the B2B, right? Rocket Miles, like Booking. And I wasn't sure so much of Priceline. Is that your own kind of B2B strategy as well, or is it all part under the Booking brand?
Yeah, so across all of our brands, we all have a B2B business that we operate. All of them are meaningful, they're growing, and especially in their respective markets, right? Agoda has a very strong B2B business in Asia. Booking has a very strong B2B business in Europe. Priceline has a very strong B2B business here in North America as well.
So what type of partners? Like, are you also working with banks and financial institutions?
So we're focused on a lot of different sectors, whether it be, our suppliers, our partners themselves, like the airlines, for example. We work in the loyalty space, the points space, variety of different spaces. We also have Rocket Miles here, which is an Agoda product, which is an amazing product. They're very focused on large, entrenched, white label solutions that power very big players. Priceline has a very strong API business, and so we use that business to share our inventory with other partners who want to go build their own products and services.
And are you also seeing, like Expedia, is that actually growing faster than some of the consumer-facing business?
Meaning that's what
the
Expedia
B2B?
Shared in their earnings? Yeah, absolutely. The B2B space is, for us, it is a dual strategy for us. It's very important. We have made an acquisition 3 years ago with GetAroom. That helped us to meaningfully grow the size and scale of our B2B business here in North America. So we're in it.
Yeah. Booking's always been very smart looking at hotel aggregators and creating a new business and
Yeah.
growing the business in that sense, for sure.
So if you are out there building a new business and you need some hotel supply, this is where you come.
Right here, guys. All right, I want to talk about Penny, because obviously, you know, AI agents, whatnot, the whole conversation that we've had yesterday, really interesting. I learned a lot. I'm sure everybody here learned a lot. And, but they may not know that you've been doing this, working on this for a long time.
Yes.
And I do want to start with showing a little video, just a quick video. And you could just talk a little bit about what Penny does for us now and what Penny's going to do for us in the future. Well, we could talk about that.
Hey there, I'm Penny, your AI travel assistant
Hey Penny,
from Priceline.
I'm actually in a rush. I'm looking for a hotel in Miami for the first weekend in December. Something in Miami Beach for me and my 2 friends.
I found some hotel options in Miami Beach for the first weekend in December. Here are a few choices. W South Beach, a luxurious 5-star hotel with ocean views.
That sounds great.
2
Do you know
pools.
if they are pet friendly? I forgot to mention I was going to bring my dog Sparky.
This luxurious hotel is indeed pet friendly.
That sounds
You and
perfect.
Sparky
Let's book.
It seems like you're all set for a fantastic trip with Sparky. If you need any more assistance or have any other requests, just let me know.
I love it. I love that she like knows what she wants, you know? It's like, AI lady, just do this quick. So tell me about what that you're actually booking. So is that available now, being able to book through Penny?
So that is a very important partnership that we have with OpenAI. We're using their latest voice technology. It's called real-time voice, which enables, you know, our chatbot Penny to have a conversation with you in real time. She responds instantly, and you can hear, you can cut her off, you can ask her to do different types of things for you. And obviously, hotel search is one area that we're focused on. Now Penny has been live in a chat format or in a text format for well over a year now. And she can do all kinds of things. She can answer questions about your entire transaction journey. And more recently, just within the last few weeks, we've put this voice product into the space using this new technology. And consumers are already engaging with her and conducting hotel searches. Do I think that the industry is going to move to voice? No, not really. But some consumers will use that product to do the full booking transaction. Within the next quarter, you will be able to start and finish a full transaction in voice. Today, if you come in and just engage with her, through your keyboard or through your text, she will get you deep into the hotel booking experience and will then hand you off to our checkout page, and then you'll be done. But shortly, you'll be able to do the full transaction directly speaking to her.
Okay, so right now it will go through the Priceline's booking page.
Yeah, it'll be seamless. You'll be engaging with her, and she'll say, okay, you found the hotel you want, this looks good. And once you tap the hotel, you'll move right into the checkout and you're done. But within a short matter of time here, literally within weeks, you'll go through the whole transaction flow, which is pretty
very
cool.
And how much eventually personalization would be putting around that? So for example, if I'm a VIP member, right, you're starting to know things about me.
Yes.
So how will Penny start to personalize?
Yeah, so she's already starting to do that now. So she's already taking conversations that you're having currently. In the future, near future, within, again, a matter of months, she'll be taking information that we have from all of our learnings about you, the type of hotels you book, right, the past interactions and conversations you've had with her, to more quickly customize specific offerings for you, especially when it comes to selecting a hotel, right? You're going to a new market. There's hundreds of hotels to choose from. She will be very good at putting the exact 1 or 2 hotels in front of you that we're very confident that you will book.
And what are some of the other new features, like save searches, that kind of thing? So you'll have my history, and if I'm looking, and then I'm leaving, and
course.
Back is there.
Anything you've searched, booked, expressed interest in, even talked about, if we know that you've talked about bringing a pet, that you travel with your children, we'll assume that that's likely what you're going to look for the next time in, and we'll lead with that as your options. Okay. Yeah.
Excellent. I want to talk a little bit about, I guess, maybe Gen Z or whatever, because when I looked at SimilarWeb to see where the Priceline's traffic versus Booking in the U.S., and of course Booking is a little bigger, your sister company or parent company. But then when I looked at social, you guys are killing it. Priceline is killing it. So I'm just wondering, do you have what are you doing to kind of reach the next generation of travelers? That's kind of been part of your your ad campaign recently, correct? And going after young people. And does that kind of how does that differentiate what Priceline is doing, and how well is that working for you?
Yeah, obviously it starts with product, and so our product teams have specifically been looking at opportunities to build features that are more interesting to a younger consumer. So for example, in the next couple of weeks, we'll be launching a new product feature that's heavily centered around neighborhoods, so that consumers can come in, let's say you're very familiar with, a neighborhood in New York City, Soho, but you're going to Chicago. We'll very easily be able to connect that and tell you, here's the neighborhood that's most like Soho in Chicago. Here's why you're going to love it. Here's some features about it. And so you can very easily kind of cross-shop different markets. And so for a younger, I think, consumer who really is all about exploration but knows what they want, we're going to build tools that will help them do that. And clearly, putting Gen AI at the center of everything we're doing, and for us, it's more than just kind of a tagline that we talk about but don't really do much. Go to our website, check out our services, download our app. You'll see that Gen AI literally is driving a lot of the flow of what's happening in the booking experience.
So you're bringing to Priceline your marketing expertise, your technical expertise, your operational expertise. Yeah.
You said it.
You've done it all.
Thank you. Yeah, it's.
What are you seeing? When you look ahead.
Again, we have to continue to innovate. And it really does start with product. We have, over the course of time, launched some very unique products that are both good for our supply partners and good for our consumers, and we're going to continue to do that. We're going to find new ways to deliver value that just haven't existed in the travel industry before. And
can I ask you also, because you have visibility, obviously, what we think is going to happen in 2025? Because, I'm hearing different things, right? Like STR has put down, has lowered its expectations for hotel ADR. So are we starting to see a little softness there, or are we still seeing that high demand that we've enjoyed the past couple of years?
I mean, if you look at the US market and you go back to even the first and second quarter of this year, we already had a little bit of a slowdown for the US consumer, right? For the leisure traveler. Now, when you hear all of our supply partners talk about their earnings results, they're very optimistic about the US market, but they're leaning heavily into business and they're leaning heavily into group. Those have been two pockets that have been very successful in the US. However, I think as we move forward, I'm very optimistic about the leisure traveler in the US. I think with the transition and change in the presidency, I think we're going to see a more favorable environment for markets, and I think that might hopefully trickle down to our consumer bases, who will feel more comfortable about using some of their excess cash to travel. Right. So we're optimistic. We didn't really see a large, downturn as we moved through the election cycle, and so that was, I think, a good outcome.
That's a good sign.
Yeah.
Okay. So I think everybody here, again, we talked about, all, Brett's wonderful qualities, but let's get a little more personal as well, if you don't mind.
Okay.
Okay. Just get to know you a little bit more. So we have some express lane questions.
Okay.
All right, ready. What is your favorite word or quote?
I was in Paris a couple of weeks ago, and I went into a shop to buy a pair of reading glasses, and this gentleman, a young man, was there working, and we started to talk about his business and what he was building there, and he asked me what line of business I was in. I said, well, I'm in travel. And he said, I love travel. The wonderful thing about travel is when you go to a new destination, you find yourself all over again.
Love it.
And I thought, man, that's like a
postcard.
Use
that one.
I told him I was going to use that quote. It was beautiful.
I do.
So that's what I love about travel, and that line is just stuck in
Find yourself all
my
over
head now. Yeah.
Excellent. When you were a kid, what did you want to be when you grew up?
I thought I was going to be a dentist like my father.
Oh.
Yeah.
And
I was that close to to moving in that direction, and the internet popped along. Yeah, the internet's amazing.
You're not saved by the bell, by the way. I have more. If you could change one thing about the travel industry, what would it be?
Oh, boy, we really just have to eliminate all flights that have been canceled in the world.
They were already canceled.
We can fix that. The world would be a much better place.
What about Priceline? What would you fix?
Oh my, so many things I want to keep evolving and changing. I can't pick. My team knows.
That's perfect, right? Describe a hypothetical technology you wish was real.
That I wish was real?
Yeah.
A hypothetical, obviously time travel.
Time travel.
Who wouldn't want to do that?
Would you go back or forward?
I would go definitely back.
Yeah, nostalgic.
Very nostalgic. I'm an 80s kid, what can I say?
I know, I got it. If you could be someone else from anyone present in this room or at this conference or in the industry, who would it be?
Well, I'd have to be William Shatner. He's lived the most. He's 90.
He's been to
he's
space.
95 years old.
When are you going to outer
He's been to
space,
space,
by the way?
When I'm 95, I will go to space.
You're going to wait till you're 95? And
Definitely.
finally, what is your favorite guilty pleasure?
My favorite guilty pleasure? Very expensive chocolate.
Sounds good, everybody. Thank you. Great.
Thank you.